There's a core routine called the standard core routine that I think is so valuable for runners that I think pretty much every runner should start doing it regularly. It's a 6 exercise sequence that's pretty comprehensive, working everything from your traditional abdominals in the front of your body to your obliques to your transverse abdominis, even your glutes and your hip flexors and many other muscles that comprise the core. It's really the entire region surrounding your trunk. Now, I probably field one question a week about one specific exercise in the standard core routine, and that is the supine leg lift. It's the final exercise in the sequence, and it's admittedly the hardest exercise in the sequence. I always think runners should just do the best that they can, and if you can't exactly do this exercise, there are a bunch of variations that you can do that make it a little bit easier. So in this video, what I want to do is show you 5 different variations of the supine leg lift so that you can continue to do this exercise even if you're struggling a little bit and you can't do the version of this exercise that's included in the standard core routine. We can always modify any exercise in any exercise program, and especially that's true in the standard core routine. So let's get started. I'm gonna show you these 5 variations. We're gonna start with the easiest version, and then we're gonna gradually get a little bit more challenging as we go. All right, let's start with the easiest version of this exercise. You're not actually gonna lift your legs at all. You'll simply drive your heels into the ground and elevate your hips. This is the version of the supine leg lift that is the easiest. You can also take a break. Take a 2-second break, come back up, 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off. Woo. So what you're doing here is essentially repetitions of the supine hold. Now, the next version of this exercise is with no breaks. So you're simply going to do exactly the same thing and then hold this for 30 to 60 seconds or however long you're doing the entire exercise. All right, now let's try variation number 3. Variation number 3 has you drive your hips up, you drive your heels into the ground, and then you put your leg up, put it back down. Put your leg up, put it back down. This is an alternating supine leg lift. And that is variation number 3, a little bit more challenging when you're lifting your heels up.
You know, I'm not that big into supplements, but I do love AG1 by Athletic Greens. I consider it my nutrition insurance, helping me cover all my bases so I know I'm not missing out on anything my body needs, especially when I'm training really hard. I try to eat really well, but of course, AG1 is that extra security that gives me peace of mind over my diet. 1 scoop per day, and I'm getting 75 vitamins and minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, antioxidants, and adaptogens. You can try it out too at athleticgreens.com/Jason, and they're going to throw in a free year's worth supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Check it out at athleticgreens.com/Jason.
We've got 2 more variations of this exercise. The next one is actually very similar to the supine leg lift, except when you lift it up, you're going to hold it for 2 to 4 seconds. Give it a nice little hold. Really drive the opposite heel into the ground. You're going to feel this in your glute and your hamstring. And then once you have mastered that, you can move on to the hardest version. It's where you just do a long hold. You just do a hold more for about 10 seconds. Really drive that opposite heel into the ground. And then you can slowly lower it and do the opposite leg. And then you can keep alternating. All right, there we go. That is how you modify an exercise, specifically the supine leg lift in the standard core routine. This is the hardest exercise in the routine, and it's just frankly not easy. A lot of runners struggle with it, especially if you sit down a lot and live a little bit more of a sedentary lifestyle, you're probably gonna find that your glutes and hamstrings are a little bit weaker, and this exercise is more challenging. That doesn't mean you should stop doing it. It's actually a good indication that you should keep doing it, and you should work on it a little bit more. If you struggle with deadlifting, you're probably gonna struggle with this exercise too, because it's more of a posterior chain exercise. So I hope you get consistent with the standard core routine. If you could do that routine 3 times a week for a minute per exercise, you're just gonna feel really good. You're gonna be really strong, and your injury risk is also gonna plummet. Just remember, if you can't do an exercise, you can always do a version of it.